live right now. Um, Bare Knuckles was live earlier. Pat McAfee was live earlier. There was a bunch of people live on YouTube earlier. So,
There we go again. Now it's back on again.
I went back on because it told me it was dead a second ago.
Now it's back on again. Wow, this is weird.
Yeah, because
Hopefully it
this one's
doesn't
on
come off again.
2 seconds.
Anyways, if John comes back, he says he's given up on Vancouver already. Uh, I don't know if I'd give up on Vancouver already now yet, but uh, I just can't see that team not being able to get back to where they were in the playoffs somewhat. I mean, it's they've had some tough competition, but that's what it is. That might be the problem. Is that Vancouver can't build their confidence against some weak. Although they just played Ottawa, but you're not going to get average teams in this division. Every team is a darn good team, pretty much.
Yeah,
Every team in the East Division, if you put them in other divisions, would make the playoffs, except for or not the East, North, except for maybe the East. But all the other divisions, if you put every team besides Ottawa in every other division, they probably make the playoffs. CL, let's hopefully we don't lose it. We've been losing our connection here over and over again. So far, so good, though. So how you doing, CL? No, you're not. Well, no, because we lost the connection. We had a whole bunch of people, and then we lost connection. Did I lose?
you did for a minute. I couldn't hear some of
I
what you
lost
were
you.
saying. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Just keep on going. We're not going to stop. I don't care. I don't even care.
Um, But I heard what you said about the Canucks. Yeah, they're just a dysfunctional family. But to move on to good conversation, we might as well talk about how Josh Anderson has looked very good since coming into Montreal. He got those 2 goals in front of the net yesterday to set
Yeah.
them on rolling. And then Tyler Toffoli decided to be the same man on a mission he's been against. If Tyler Toffoli played the Canucks every game, he might break the single season scoring record. like,
Yeah. Well, that's
like
true. Yeah.
yeah, like if he
Yeah.
played the Canucks every game, he might break the single season scoring record. But since that's
But
not the case, he has 8 goals against the Canucks. So
and good on him too. It actually shows a lot of character for a player to like stick it to his old team, especially in that situation. They had a year, but I mean, really, I'm pretty sure the Canucks wanted to sign him. But who else were they going to lose? It was a very difficult call on their part. If they could have moved Sutter, maybe he
correct.
was only getting 4 million. Like they just had it. They couldn't move a body to get him in. And Erickson, like, do you not want to strangle Erickson so much? If I was in that room, somebody's got to step up and say, dude, retire. Okay, get out of our face. We lost to Foley because of you. You come in here every day acting like, like it's just, oh, I can't stand the guy. I can't stand him. There's not too many times I say that about a player, but like if somebody asks me who's the player you least like in the league, it's definitely Erickson. It's not any of the guys that do
Yeah, I
bad
think there's an
hits
easy
or
second place though.
Lucic,
No, someone we talked about yesterday,
Marshawn,
Tony, Tony
Tony.
D'Angelo.
Oh, Dan, no, I wouldn't put it in that. I don't know that whole whatever going on with him. I mean, uh, at least he shows up and he plays a game. I mean, Erickson pretends he's still an NHL hockey player in front of people, and he gets $6 million a year, and gets sat and acts like it shouldn't be happening when he's on the ice. It's quite obvious. Like there is nothing more disruptive to a room than that. It's just terrible. I'd rather have a guy that's mouthy and goes off on a goaltender or whatever. That at least when he's on the ice, he has some use. Or even a guy that doesn't have use that it will at least come to the rink and admit that okay, I'm not there, or it's I maybe we got to find maybe it's time for me to retire and talk to management about a way to get sent somewhere. At least allow the team to send you somewhere in a trade or something. This guy is an absolute disaster. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. He's just terrible. Uh, yeah, that's as far as a hockey player is concerned. As a person, that's completely different. But as a hockey player, he's one of the worst ever. One thing we can say is the Canucks did outshoot the Canadians last night.
Yeah. Um, Jake Allen, I thought, played a pretty solid game. He made a couple. That one save, nobody was saving that. Or that one shot that Elias Pettersson shot, nobody in their right mind was saving when he sniped it into the top corner. I don't think Patrick Waugh was saving that, let alone Jake Allen. But otherwise, he looked really solid in that game. Looked pretty good with movement. Had a better glove side than sometimes when he goes down, he'll make his glove go too low. I've seen in the past, and then that's why the shooter's able to kind of shoot it above his glove. I didn't see that yesterday. He was able to go down and kind of keep his glove up still in the right position, so he could still reach up if he had to. Where I think going to Montreal, actually, it seems like he even adjusted for the better after having a good season in St. Louis and even got that more consistent. Because that's been one thing he's always been fine with. It's not like Capo, or not Capo, Capo Caco, Kakkonen and the Minnesota system where they said his glove, he really couldn't clamp it. That's not the issue Allen had, where he's gotten better with that. But Allen is more, he goes down and sometimes he brings his glove all the way down with him where you're supposed to obviously keep your glove in a saving position where he's been getting better and better at that, I think, in the last 2 years. So I saw pretty good stuff from him last night. And then Demko didn't look as bad as I think the numbers say because they just, like I said,
No, no, no,
they're a dysfunctional family. He made some good saves
no.
for them, and then you just like most of those 33 shots were shots that were pretty opportunistic because the Canucks defense is absolutely putrid. So
Yeah, no, I don't think Demko really played all that bad. I do think Holtby played bad the game before that. Like
yes, yeah,
if their goaltender plays bad and they have that, I mean, it's a disaster. But what was I going to say? There was something I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. Suzuki is going off. Oh, that's what it was. Toffoli. Before the season started, we were into saying that Toffoli was like the perfect player for Julian because he's that shoot first guy, right? He's gonna
hmm
love Julian's system because Julian's like, I'd rather you be too selfish. I don't care. Like just I want you to shoot. That's what he loves. He's not ever gonna stop you to shoot. And for a guy like Toffoli, that's music to his ears. That's what he wants to be. And I and
Wonder if Jeff
that's what he's
Carter will go there
being.
once his contract's over to retire. If Claude Julian's still there, it's like, it's a great place to retire, Montreal. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah. Anywhere where Julian is for shooters like that is,
yeah,
and same as Josh Anderson too. Josh Anderson's a first shoot first guy. So one thing we gotta say
and a
is
great
how
deflector too.
how much flack has Bergevin gotten over the years for some of the things he's done, and rightfully so in a lot of cases, like for instance the Sergachev for Drouin trade. But you got to say he's redeeming himself, isn't he?
Yeah. He's making all the moves that make sense. Obviously, Romanov, we already talked about him coming over, has stepped in tremendously. The Weber trade has looked a lot better than people anticipated it would have from the outset, and actually has worked out pretty well. Seems to find a little bit of a second leg in Montreal. And then obviously Jeff Petrie is just ridiculous, in a good way. So I mean, heck, if he does keep playing like this, he might win the Norris. I mean, he might
Yeah,
actually pull a Giordano and take the icing on the cake and be in his mid 30s and actually win his first Norris. So I wouldn't put it past him. and they just really have fit in well. Even Mete in the 2 games they put him in now because of the push of his agent has looked good in my opinion. I think he's looked all right out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that for sure.
so and
Yeah.
I also think he'll probably get traded. By the way, Chuck Fletcher make that call. But either way, he's looking good. Their team's looking good, and I think they're just going to keep building on this because you got Carey Price, you got Jake Allen. Heck, if you had an issue, you don't want to have an issue, but I think he already showed he could be a backup at least. Caden Primo can be in your backup role if something happened to somebody for a short period of time. Not for like 2 months, but for like 2 weeks, then you would be fine there. So they got depth at the most keen position and key position in hockey too. I think their team
Yeah.
really is set up for everything, and they don't really have much issues unless if like 6 people get injured. But any team would have issues if 6 people get injured. So like, I think their team's really in a good spot, and also they got a boatload, and I mean a boatload of draft picks in next year's draft from the second to the fifth
Yep.
round. They got like they're going to be stacked with young talent too, or tradable assets via those draft picks to even bring more and more great talent into Montreal. So I mean, I think he's done fantastic. So I mean, I would say if anyone's still complaining about him, still, I don't think they really know how business is run.
No.
That's a nice way for me to
No.
put it.
You,
If
no.
anyone's
You
still
really can't.
complaining about Bergevin, you can't know how business is
I don't think anybody's complaining about it anymore, but I think a lot of people are not. There'll probably be a lot of people that won't admit that they hassled him before, and I'm one of them. I did. I was like, what the heck are these guys doing? Their drafting record was ridiculous. They were. It just seemed like they were swimming upstream for years, and then all of a sudden, boom! He just comes, says, "Okay, you know what?" It almost looked like to me that he knew it was going to be could be his last year, and he just went to the manager and said, "Give me one more year, and I'll turn the ship around." And he did it. So if
yeah.
Ghost were able to be, I got a question here before we go on. If Ghost were able to be traded, which team would he best bounce back with? I would say LA Kings.
Kings probably. I
And
also don't think he's doing bad right now for us. I think since he's been in with Provy, I don't know if bounce back might not be the best term to use anymore, just because in the first 4 games he's looked pretty good. But in terms of bouncing back to his 60-point season, if that's what you mean by that question, CL, yeah, that would be the Kings.
yeah, that would be it. LA Kings are probably the best team at doing whatever with any defenseman. And pretty much, if you're a defenseman and you go to the LA Kings and you can't make it, you're never making it.
You're not
Probably
gonna make it. Yeah,
you're
you're not.
not gonna make it.
I mean, look at Mark Alt.
So
Mark Alt. They turned Mark Alt into a pretty solid 7-8 guy. Where in the Flyers,
yeah,
people thought that he was a guy that the Flyers were high on, couldn't figure it out. Went to the Kings and is now a pretty good depth defenseman and a good minor. He was always a good minor league defenseman, but now added depth defenseman to his resume. So
yeah, and uh, look, I really like to bring up Forbert. Uh, he was a high draft pick, but it's just a lot of teams would have given up on Forbert long before the LA Kings did, and like he struggled with the skating and everything, and they just kept with him, kept with him, kept with him, and then ended up having other guys take his spot. He moves over to Calgary and then gets picks up, and now he's playing like 17, 18 minutes for Winnipeg.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, which maybe is more than he should be, but still, he turned into an NHL player when a lot of people never thought he would.
He's actually been
And
one of the
LA
more
did a great job
consistent.
that way.
Yeah, he did score last night. You're right, John. That was a nice goal coming in on the rush when he shot it. You're absolutely right. Forbert did score last night. Winnipeg, though, I think
Mm-hmm.
he's honestly looked, other than like Pionk and the obvious assessments, the best on their defense. He's been the most consistent anchor defensively, hitting people, blocking shots, playing good defense. He stepped in right away and has looked very good in that system. So maybe he's playing a couple more minutes than he normally plays. Probably usually playing him about 14 minutes a night. So if you're playing him 16 to 18, that's a couple extra minutes. But it's not. It's not. I don't think he's a guy that slides up the lineup and kind of falls down. I can't remember who we were talking about yesterday that does that. Oh, Jordy Ben. He's not like Jordy Ben, where if he plays on the second line, all of a sudden you see more mistakes. But when he plays in your final defensive pair, he looks perfectly fine. I would say Forbert's a guy that has the ability to at least slide to the second pair uh, pretty well. I would never put him up. I wouldn't say never. I would usually not put him on my first line unless if I have like a Provorov or somebody that would match up really well with him, and then you just want a guy of that ilk that just blocks shots and hits with that guy. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. I've already underestimated him enough. I'm not going to put much. Who knows where he could go? But it seems like he can't have much more of a peak. He is getting up there now. He's 27, 28, something like that,
yeah, unless
if
if
I
he's one of
remember
those, well,
correctly.
he already is a late bloomer, but unless if you're one of those really late primers, like you bloomed and then you hit your prime
Yeah.
at 30, basically, like if you're
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
guys.
And he very well could be too.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that. That's why I say I wouldn't really put anything. He's surprised me every time now. So one thing I would like to talk about before we go on to some other team is I've been a big supporter of Green in Vancouver up, and but I'm starting to wonder if he's maybe giving some of these guys a little too much rope here. I I don't think Godet. I've talked about it before. I think Godet is a lot better than he's given him credit for. That the team has given him credit for. Uh, I think I don't know. Shouldn't he be trying to give other guys a chance here in this situation to mix things up a little bit? You got Godet who scored a couple this year. He's only playing 7 minutes a night, and Zach McEwen. I like the energy he has, and he's only playing 6 minutes a night. Wouldn't it be a good idea now to maybe say, okay, you guys aren't doing it right now. We're gonna move these guys up, give them a shot, at least to bring some energy and see some fight in for a battle for their spot to get their heads back in the game.
yeah, I would say it would probably make sense to slide some guys up. I mean, they also have, if you're having issues with anyone on defense, you have Rathbone in the minors and also Brogan Rafferty, who played a game. And
Yeah.
then you have a guy, obviously Vertanen hasn't worked out there, but he's been scratched recently. Louis Eriksson's never going to see the light of day unless if someone gets injured. So you have that guy, you have him down there. Godet, I think, probably would benefit from playing up, but the thing is, their top two lines ain't really struggling that much. Where I don't know where you would move them up. Like Hoglander's actually playing good on the second line. Pearson's playing pretty good on the second line, and obviously you're not going to move him for Elias Pettersson. And then Horvat have been their best when that is together as the first line. So it's more, you should play him more minutes. I don't know if you can actually move him up a line though, because the two people on his line play significantly more minutes than him. Except for when Anton Russell's on that line. He doesn't play significantly more, but even Sutter plays double the amount Gaudette plays. So, like, you should play him more. He could stay on the same line. I just don't understand why he doesn't play the same amount of minutes as Brandon Sutter. Why does Sutter play double the amount of minutes when he's on his line? You should play Gold.
Well, Brandon Sutter is a good example. I think Godet can play top line minutes. If I'm Seattle, I'm putting a focus on Godet. I really like him as a player. I don't know why he doesn't get more time uh, up
Might put a
there.
focus
I
on
think he
Mott,
should
too, if
get.
he keeps playing the way he's playing, too, because Godet and Mott are both in their mid 20s.
Yeah, why don't you just put him up in the top six during the games and put some guys down just every once in a while to add some new look to your lineup. Get guys thinking a little bit too. I'm a big proponent of that, and I figured out what was going on. By the way, for some reason, it's OBS that's the problem with
So,
this.
what is.
OBS is the problem. Every time it tells me, it says, "Oh, you got to restart your software." So I just keep on. I'm just keeping on restarting OBS, and it's correcting itself. So whatever. Um, but I'm a big proponent of this, and I thought Green would be too when things started going south. So far, it hasn't been that way. You have noticed that that's why AV, and before the season started, we go to Philadelphia a little bit. I said it wouldn't be a bad idea for Giroux to start on the third line and show
Yep,
these young guys what it means to work your way up the lineup. So he mixed it up though, right? And he's played guys higher, lower. When things aren't going well, AV will do that. He'll take some of the younger guys and throw them on
he's
the
played
top
the
line for a
Bunneman
game.
line against the best offensive lines in all of hockey since Connor Bunneman's in
Yeah,
for 6 games because he trusts them defensively. He always talks about how much Bunneman's able to shut people down defensively. He's played that line against top lines because he trusts them so much
right.
defensively. Same with Laut's line. Usually, when you see the end of the game and the Flyers are winning, the top two lines are never out there if it's a 1 goal game. Usually it's Scott Lawton's
Mm-hmm.
line and Connor Bunneman's line, or Scott Lawton's
Yeah,
fourth line when it becomes a fourth line, and Nolan Patrick's third line when he moves back down to the
yeah.
third line when Cooch is back.
Yeah, because he's given everybody a role and he's believing in them in that role. I mean, how are you ever going to be a great team if your players don't believe in the role you're giving them, right? So if you're going to put them there, you got to play them there because that's what it's. That's the only way you're going to succeed. Now, maybe you don't succeed because the guys are not what you need in that role. Well, that's whatever.
That's completely
But
different.
you're never going to succeed. You're never going to succeed if you don't play the guys that you have for that role in that role, right?
Yep.
That's my criticism of Green now as it's gone down as we go down. You're seeing how is a guy like Godet going to play whatever role he's given for 7 minutes? He's not a fourth line player. I
No,
don't
he's
agree.
not. I completely agree with that. Uh,
Avatar is here.
yeah,
Avatar, how you doing, buddy?
said good day.
Projo, how was your days? Great. It's fantastic, man. We're talking about hockey all day. So can't be better than that.
You have any again, people in the live chat? We are supposed to talk about the games, but you guys always get us with talking about a bunch of other interesting things with your questions or Avatar. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, whoever fire them in the live chat.
Or
That's
statements.
yeah, or statement. That's
If you
how
have
we all
any
get off
yeah.
topic here on our show when we
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't care. There's no rules here. There's no rules here at Pearls of Wisdom Ministries. So how you doing,
yeah.
Avatar? We're kind of going on about Vancouver now and kind of giving some criticism to
Also,
Green.
that's
Imagine
my channel.
what a flip from last year.
Yeah,
We're giving props to Bergevin and criticism to Green.
yeah. Avatar. So you know, Sports Fanatic is my channel. I just that's me that responded to you with "Hey Avatar, good day." Just so you know that.
Yeah, Sports Fanatic News. Yeah, go check it out. He does all kinds of sports on there. Football. He'll be doing a football a Super Bowl video coming up right away here, right?
Today's Wednesday. We're going to put it out, I think, tomorrow. So Thursday, and then people
Sweet.
will have Friday, Saturday, and then the day, or not the day, leading up to the Super Bowl to watch it. There we go. Now I can speak. Uh,
CL's asking if Nate Schmidt has made a difference so far. He's looked lost. He hasn't acclimated himself very well to this
granted,
Vancouver
everybody.
system, but yeah, that's the thing is if you go into a new team and the team is not playing their best by any stretch of the imagination, it's hard to find your niche. It's hard to blame him right now, but has he made a difference? Nah, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot more to this Tanev stuff than I give credit for. I mean, you know what his nickname was? Tanev in Vancouver?
No.
Father.
Oh, because he's a he's like that type of personality.
Yeah, he's like a father figure. He's like a dad. A dad. I think it was dad, not father, dad. They called him dad. And so I mean,
That's hilarious.
like we were talking about Boychuk in Boston. It's possible because Lucic and a bunch of guys said it took them a long time to recover from Boychuk leaving that room. Maybe Tanev was that type of guy in there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Chris Tanev, too, so people know we're not talking about the Penguins, Brandon. Um, but yeah, it seems like he definitely looks like a good leader and definitely has more value. That's the word I'm looking for. Um, than I originally thought, more as an overall figure on the team rather than just a solid bottom pair or a like
Yeah,
second
yeah,
liner defender. Yeah,
yeah.
like
He's
Matt
it's
Dad
the
Reed,
that's
CL said. Like Matt
Matt Reed. Yeah.
Dad.
Well, that's there's a great example, CL. That's why I love it. I was like, you say, "Oh, ask us questions," but most of these guys have plenty of answers because they're great hockey minds as well. CL's on all the
That's true.
time,
He was a
and
big too.
Reed is a great example of a guy who wasn't really bringing it on the ice all that much, but I always heard I'm a Philly fan, but I'm not living in Philly. But you heard it as far as Hero Western Canada, what Reed did for the room. And I was like, was it legal? Like, what was he doing? Because he's really bad on the ice. So whatever he was doing in the room, I don't even know if I want to ask what it is. But obviously, he must have been one of those guys that was just great for everybody, just an encouraging uh, kind of guy.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, originally he started off fine skill wise. Then he had those leg injuries, and then he just became the dad of the locker room because he did have that 20 goal season. Was good on the PK, but then he just fell off because of leg injuries, which you can't blame a guy for that. Also, thank you, Avatar. I appreciate you subscribing. But for the future too. Speaking of the great fans or great minds, when I start my show with Steel, that the only reason we didn't was because we had the same technical issues we're having now. That Pearlo was able to fix himself. Um, I want everyone is there's going to be a fan hour where you guys are able to submit your opinions and submit questions, and I'll just talk all about what you want and nothing. It'll be nothing. I won't plan for that. It'll be all what you guys want on the spot, and me just going off of what you all want.
Yeah. All right. So we have we beat this to death yet, or was there anything? Oh yeah, we I did want to. Mete did look good last night, and um, hopefully he gets some more time because it's been unfortunate for Mete to have this happen because he was on his way to being a regular, and
Hmm.
then they bring in Edmondson. I don't blame him for that.
And
I don't blame him
Romanov
for
came
bringing in
over.
Edmondson. And then Romanov came over, and I
Yeah,
don't blame him for that, like, of course. But for Mete, maybe in fairness, they really like him. But maybe in fairness, that they really should do something for
they
Mete
should trade
there.
him, I think.
Uh, they really should. It's not really fair to him at this stage of his career to be sitting on the bench. He's got an opportunity to make a lot of money for his family, and play a role that is going to be much better for him. I really think they should give him a shot there or give him a shot somewhere else. But I understand also that they're going for a cup this year. They're a cup contender this year, so they know there'll likely be injuries, and then Mete's going to get his chance. So I understand why Montreal doesn't want to do that either. So it's just a tough spot for him, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, with Mete, you're gonna get something decent. Like you're gonna get at least us at very least you're gonna get a second, I would think. Um,
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing is they don't want draft picks right now. They want Mete.
yeah, whether
They
it's
want a guy that
Canadian,
they
like
can
you
fill
just
in the
said, they got a
roster just like that.
500,000 draft picks already, so it's not like they really need more draft.
Yeah,
But if you're probably actually better off giving them a young guy that they could have developed for Mete, and they might take that more than a draft pick, and even a guy since they already have enough forward depth too. That might take a couple years. They might enjoy that more just because when someone else ages out or they move on from that said person would ideally be ready to step in because then you already have a guy you like in house rather than having 800 draft picks and having to
yeah.
scout to find that same guy. So I honestly think that might be the route to go if you want to trade for Victor Mete. Is probably trade some young guy for another young guy. Don't trade a pick because they're just going to go, well, we have 800 picks in next year's draft. What do we need another one for?
Yeah, it would be a tough trade. So that's and I understand like why they don't want to trade him because there's just so many injuries coming up. You're not going to probably get somebody that good back for Mete. And so you're probably, like you said, people are going to be offering draft picks, and they don't need forwards right now. So, yeah, it's a tough spot for him. But okay, we'll go to the next game, and I might as well go to Patrick Lyone's first game with the Blue Jackets. Didn't go so well.
Nope, definitely not the way you would want that to go. No. Uh,
Yeah.
his former team was able to get a W on the evening, and his current team was not. So yeah, it's definitely not the way that you want that to go. I will say though, Roslovic has looked good since he came in. Line looked all right. I don't. I feel like obviously a guy like Line with the way that team went, that's why people I saw on Twitter were questioning why he didn't play more minutes. Well, you don't play Patrick Line um, to have more minutes when you're down. It's not like Patrick Line is this defensive wizard. So unless if you have your defense is playing well enough and you just need to kill when you're so I mean when you're getting killed and you're down 3-1 at the time, 4-1 at the time, Line A's not the guy that you're going to go. Okay, let's put you on the ice to straighten out the defense. So
No,
that's pretty much
absolutely
yeah,
not.
that's pretty much the reason why I didn't play as many minutes as usual last night because of the way that the game flow
Well,
went.
yeah, I think it was also because they're kind of working him into the lineup, seeing where they're going to use him. He hasn't skated for a while. Uh, I did like, again, I could be wrong here, but Lion like at the end of the game, he did the press. He talked to the press and they said, "I love his confidence." Like he just said, "Yeah, you know, it was tough. It's a tough game to go into, or with situation, or whatever the case may be, but." I'm sure we'll turn it around and we're going to be winning here right away. It's not a big deal. It's just one game. But the way he said it was just so like, whatever. Doesn't, on to the next game. And that's the way Lion is. And I like him a lot for that. It's going to be an interesting marriage, one that I think it's going to work well. I think Lion and Tortorella are going to work well together. I really do. I think Tortorella is going to love his confidence. Where on the other side of things, I think in Winnipeg they were taken aback by his confidence. Like uh, that Canadian type way of being like faux humble that we do here in Canada, that we expect people to be like, um, just doesn't fly with a guy like Lion. Lion is not humble. I wouldn't call him like completely arrogant, but he's not humble. He's not going to be. He's
No, I
not
wouldn't
humble
call
in
him
the what I
arrogant
mean.
either. I
What?
think confidence and cockiness gets misused and confused at times.
Well, in Canada it does. In Canada it does. People can be confident in Canada on at least hockey wise, and they'll conscrew it as
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's only in
cockiness.
Canada though, because we have it like it might be only in Canada mainly with hockey,
Yeah,
but in
I'm just
yeah,
speaking. I'm just
yeah,
speaking from Canada. I just wanted to say there's a few things here before we go on here we want to get to. Do you think the Avalanche need to worry about the season with McKinnon out for a while, which we'll get to? And because we're going to be talking about Colorado anyways today, and where can he submit the questions for the
I
live
already
stream?
answered that. I just responded. I
Uh,
said to my email or Twitter DMs, and then I put it in the chat. It might have not shown up on your end yet, but I'll say it.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. My
Yeah.
Twitter is JJBorick26. You can DM me the questions. I'm going to look for them there. And then Joseph Borek, Borek is how you spell my last name, 15 at gmail.com is how you would do that for if you want to use email or you're more of a DMs person, whatever. I figured I'll give you both of those options for some people like talking on Twitter more, other people like being email savvy. So it depends where you're at.
I'm about to send you my Twitter right now. You can at Perlo's NHLPOW. If you want to go check that out, you can send me anything, DM me there as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll continue with this game and we'll get into that question about McKinnon. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but we'll get into that after we finish with this one here. Um, yeah, in Winnipeg in particular, it's like this labor town. And I'm not denouncing Winnipeg. It's a labor town, and people don't like to act like they're better than other people and stuff like that. It's just the way they are, and it's kind of cool actually. If you go there, you really feel like a you're part of something there, and you never feel like you don't feel like somebody's trying to beat you out of something. You know what I mean? It's actually a really
Yeah,
cool atmosphere. I'm not putting it down, but on the same note, there's a certain kind of, or like if you don't follow it, they really don't seem to appreciate it. And I just don't feel like Lion was
yeah.
appreciated for what he was. I personally think he's great, and I hope I think he'll do
I
better.
mean, let me put
It'll
it
be a
this
better
way:
situation
because
for
of
him.
the weather, I don't think Winnipeg would be my first choice if I was a star player and could play
Well,
for a
no,
Canadian team.
I can.
Yeah,
I know that it wouldn't be my first choice. If you gave me a no trade list, Winnipeg would be on it, no doubt about it. And so would where I live, by the way. Edmonton would be on it too. So that's no slam. I love
uh,
Edmonton, but
yeah. I don't
I
think.
love I love Edmonton because I live here. But if I could get not live here, I wouldn't live here in the winter at least. Summer's awesome though. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was gonna say Edmonton. I agree with the weather. The thing is, Dre and Connor would make me not put it on my no trade list. Like
Yeah.
I'm not putting that on my no trade list because I would play. I don't care if I'm playing in Siberia. I will play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So they could be like, yeah, we're gonna play a showcase in Siberia, and I'll be like, well, what the hell are we doing that for? But I would be like, I don't care. Who cares? I'm playing with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl still. I can freeze my butt off. Who cares? So um,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
I play with them
I
any
don't
day.
know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's more. It does make it more tempting to have Dre and McDavid there, but and then on the other hand, I mean,
My
you're
kid
not there
there.
all the time. You're on the road a lot. It's only when you're in town, really. But your family is gonna live there, and that's the thing. So, uh, yeah, it would probably be on my NT. I could find another team that has great players. I think in a
I
warmer
know Ottawa.
climate.
Yeah, I know Ottawa would be trade. The only two teams I think would be on my no trade would be Ottawa and Winnipeg, just because of the
You
weather and the draw isn't Connor McDavid, and they still have really good players, but it's not the two people competing for the MVP every season.
Put your those guys, whoever's in the comment section. Put your who would you be in the no trade clause if you had a no trade
Yeah, now
clause
that's not
down there?
overall. That's just in Canada. Overall, I would also include Arizona, um, Detroit, because I don't want to go to a team that I don't know when they're actually going to take off. Um, unless if Dylan Larkin, I guess, reached out and go to Detroit. San Jose is a dumpster fire right now, so I wouldn't go to San Jose either because
I would not go to. Yeah, San Jose would be on it for
um,
sure.
the
That is a
unless
terrible
if I'm a
situation there.
pivotal goal scorer, I probably wouldn't go to the Ducks either because they can't score except for last night for some reason.
No,
Um,
I'm running out of warm weather climates. They need to get some better. I'd go to LA. I
I would
would.
go to
LA
LA.
wouldn't be
Mark,
on there.
I would go to LA. Yeah, LA is probably the
Yeah.
only California team I wouldn't have on my no trade. As of right now.
If if
Um,
I had a five team no trade, it would be uh, Edmonton, Winnipeg, uh, yeah, Detroit, Ottawa, and wow, I only got one more. Arizona, I guess. I actually no, I'm not going to say Detroit because Detroit's going to be good pretty quick. I don't think it's going to take that much longer. Arizona and San Jose. I think San Jose is going to be worse for longer.
Yeah, I feel like Detroit, I would actually not. Maybe I would take Detroit off because I'm also a big music guy and I actually listen to some old school Motown music. So if I was
Oh
in
yeah,
Detroit,
Detroit.
yeah, if I was in
Yeah,
Detroit,
buddy.
I would probably be the player that would always be in that scene, and people would be like, "Oh, look at this white hockey player that's in the middle of the Motown scene." Like, um, but like I would
Yeah.
be big. I would be big in that scene. I would want to always go to those shows and help represent people and shout them out and everything. So maybe I would
Now,
take Detroit for also the off the ice reasons off my list.
yeah,
Then
I'd
Florida,
probably take him
I
off.
put on my
And
list.
Nashville, because of that, and that's why Duchesne's a country music guy. Eh? He plays.
Yeah,
He has a band. He has a band and everything. And apparently, he went to Nashville to further his music career because he didn't go to Nashville to further his hockey career because he's playing
No.
like
Yeah.
garbage. His main concern was to play country music, so he better be darn good, I guess. I guess at $8 million a year, it doesn't really matter if he is or not, but kind of depressing. We'll get into that.
He
Okay,
already has enough
so
money. Yeah.
we'll talk about the game a little bit. I liked what Lion said after the game. I watched some of this game and I'm just getting concerned with Columbus overall here. I do believe they'll turn it around, but there's been a lot of not controversy. This controversy's got to get over. If they can get over all of this stuff that's happened, what's the word? Every time I go to say it, it I lose it. But controversy isn't the word I'm looking for. But anyways, if they can get over this, they'll be even stronger for it. But they're in a position where there's something that they got to get over this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll get through it. I mean, Torch has always pushed his teams through. You're bringing in two new guys. Roslovic has put himself in the lineup pretty good already and has stepped in and looked good from day one as a third line in the role that he probably is most comfortable and best in. And then Line A is going to take a couple days to figure out, as you said, where exactly you want to put them in the lineup every day and where you want to use them other than on the power play the most in 5-on-5 situations. So I also,
Yeah.
if any coach is going to help Line A on the other end, that's going to be John Tortorella.
He still played 20 minutes last night. That's not bad.
Oh, did he in the end? Okay, because when I checked towards
Yeah, he ended
the
up
end of
playing
the
20
game, he
minutes.
was at like 15. Okay, in 20. Okay, I didn't realize he got that high.
Uh, they put they played him a lot at the end. Uh, I don't know. I think who he was playing with Tessier and that's the other thing. The elephant in the room there is Atkinson. Atkinson just ever like he's kind of pulling a Skinner. He hasn't been anywhere near as good as he should ever since he signed that
Yeah, at least he
contract. He
doesn't get
just
paid $9 million.
well, 6 million, but
Yeah,
still, I mean, on a team that can't score, he does put up a little more than Skinner does. He does more things than Skinner does for sure, but a little worrisome there. Hopefully, Lion A can get that. I think that he put him together with Lion A in the hopes of the two of them combining with to be able to boost each other and shoot from the. I think they should try him with Domi there. Domi's the passer, right? Uh, Hopefully he tries that pretty soon.
that would make
Domi, Atkinson.
sense. Texier's more of an overall. He'll pass it to you. He'll shoot it. He'll do a mix. Where Domi is more of a facilitator that shoots second. So yeah, that would
Yeah,
make sense.
yeah. Yeah, that would make sense to me too. I don't know why, except for the fact that maybe he's wanting Domi to shoot more, so he doesn't want to throw him on with those two guys to get that out of him because it certainly wouldn't get out of him. Yeah, so that could be a problem. That could be the reason why he's not putting Domi there because Domi does have a great shot if he would get into
Yeah,
the zone and shoot it. So
yeah.
that
Because
might
look
be the
at
reason why.
a perfect example of that is Adam Henrique. The Ducks had no score, and they told Adam Henrique to shoot, and then he scored a bunch of goals because he's more
Yeah,
of a facilitator himself, but he has a very solid shot when he shoots the puck. And then they're like, "Yeah, buddy, we have no scoring on this team," which is very blatantly obvious. And then they told him to
yeah,
shoot the puck more, and then he had that great scoring season, the best of his career. So it's all about just being able to hone it in the guy's head like, hey, this is the situation you're in. I understand this is not maybe your complete cup of tea. You're more of this type of player, but right now I need you to focus more on shooting, and I don't care if even that makes you overly selfish at times in order to get there, because the only better season he had was in 15-16 with Jersey, where last year was able to pot 26 goals and look pretty good out there, where I think that's also, when we get to it, part of what the Ducks are lacking this year. He hasn't started as hot.
yeah. I mean, a good way to do that. I can't remember who his who his wingers were when he was doing that. But I have to imagine they put him on a line with guys that weren't the greatest shooters, so it gave him no choice. It's like, oh yeah, I can't pass to him. He's not going to do nothing. So I guess I better shoot it. That's a really good way to do it. Van Hook. Huh, nice. How you doing, Van Hook? I know who you are, buddy. I've seen you around. You go on John the Goat's stuff all the time. Thanks for coming in. One of the questions we got in here, Van Hook, if you can put it down there, is if you had a no trade list, which teams would be on your no trade list? Put them down there in the comment section and we'll discuss. We'll mingle. We'll mingle. Uh, why can't I think of
Also,
the other
Von
word for
Hook, if you want
controversy?
as well, I put my email in josephborg15 at Gmail. When I start my show, you can submit questions and inquiries and stuff, and we're going to have a whole section. I'm the Sports Fanatic news account to talk about all fan topics, and I'm just going to roll with that for an hour or so of the show.
Right. Okay. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about that game. Corpusalo, I'm a little concerned about. He seems to be crapping the bed quite a bit. I was never a huge Corpusalo guy, but they played when Columbus's system is playing the way it's supposed to. It makes goaltenders look good, like say Bobrovsky, uh,
Yeah.
and uh, I. But we'll see if that can get turned around. I'm sure it will. I agree with you. I think it's pretty likely that it will. So let's go on to another game, shall we? Wasn't Dallas? Who was it in the Ulysses yesterday? Called that Dallas game. Said Dallas was
Yeah,
going to
he
win.
did.
Also, but he did say Ottawa was going to win. So I guess he's 500 on that. I faded that game. I didn't like it. I'm not liking Columbus right now. I think they're too inconsistent to really put anything in on. I want to watch them a little more before. I'll probably fade their games for a bit. So, yeah, I got to go
Von
back
Hook
here.
must not be a Vegas person. He put Vegas on his no trade list.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting, Vegas. Tell us all about it. I think I'd be all over Vegas on my. I'd be all over it. I love their weather in the wintertime there. It's freaking amazing, man. I love their weather. Yeah, I think I would be all over that. That's weird. Tell us in the comment section why you wouldn't do that. I think we'd be surprised by what a lot of people would say. Uh, the next game I'm going to go to, I just thought it was just a very interesting game. Uh, the Hurricanes versus the Blackhawks. I had the Hurricanes ML here, but the Blackhawks, I mean, we've already gloated about them enough, but it's hard not to talk about this Lankinen kid, right?
Oh, he's a Sharks fan and doesn't like Vegas. That makes a lot of sense. Simple, simple,
Okay, that's
simple as
it.
that. Yeah.
That's like,
Um,
I guess some Philly fans would have Pittsburgh on there. Yeah, that makes sense.
well, I would have Pittsburgh on there now because they suck and they're not going to get any better
Yeah,
anytime soon. But
yeah.
uh, what? Oh, he just said he sent me 11 questions apparently. And the live
Holy smokes!
the live stream hockey news will be on my channel, Sports Fanatic News, or it'll go through Steele's channel, Steel Flyers. We're not sure which one yet because if we do it through Spreaker, it has to go through Steele's for the legality reasons since he paid for everything. And then if we do it through just this, how we're doing, it would be through mine. Sports Fanatic News. The problem is I'm having a lot of issues with Streamlabs right now, so I have to call them, figure out that, and then probably Friday is when I want to do the first one. So keep a lookout for the Sports Fanatic News channel for Friday if I can get all my technical issues resolved.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, go. I would recommend you go over to the Steel Flyers YouTube channel. Just search Steel Flyers and subscribe to that so you have it available for you for your perusal. Right? Okay,
Yep.
let's get into Carolina Hurricanes. Well, we talked to Lankinen like crazy yesterday. Okay, he's not getting any worse. He had another great game, 41
Looks good
shots.
for the Blackhawks. I have to say too. I have to shout
The,
him out too. Philippe Kurashev
mhm.
I don't know if they call him Philip
Yes.
or if his name's actually Philippe, but either way, he's looked really good out there. And played very well. I'm just thinking since he's from Czech, it might be pronounced Philippe, but either way, he's looked very well and
Yeah.
looked very good out there, and has been uh, very good. And hockey news reports, I'll link it for you. Let me do that in the chat. I'll link my channel page for you so you can just go right to it, and then whoever else wants to go to it, you can go to it from the link to make it a lot easier on you guys. Just give me a second while that's loading so I can do that. But Kurashev has looked really solid. 5 points, 4 goals. He's been crashing the net well. That's how he got his goal with great tic-tac-toe passing. That Kubalik got it over to him yesterday. And that was a very nice play. So I agree with everything. Chicago's been a surprising team because they've battled all year. They've had all these key injuries and
Hmm.
a battle. They've lost a lot of games and are on the outside looking in, but they battled in most of those games. They've been close in most of those games and played a lot better than we initially thought. And it's also because a guy like Strome is having another solid season. I think he scored 3 goals in his last four, they said. So he's really getting his hot skates going again, just like he had going last year when he first came over. So I think going to Chicago for him was a godsend for his career. And he's continuing to do good things there. So I'm excited. If I was a Blackhawks fan, I would be more excited than I originally was because if these guys keep playing how well they were, your rebuild is probably going to be significantly quicker than anybody anticipated it being. Because if you already found your goaltender, you got guys like Kurashev who you didn't know exactly what he was playing very well, and then you already have the other prospects coming up. That should expedite your rebuild.
Yeah. Well, I think they knew exactly what they had, and although I was not sure what was going on, and I didn't have Chicago making the playoffs, of course, before the season started. I did say that I have a lot of faith in the Bowman family. I mean, these are great minds. So just because I can't figure it out what's going on doesn't mean much. Like, there's just some people that like Kekalainen and Bowman, like these guys think that it's Stevie Eiserman and another, Joe Sakic. They think the game on a level that is just unbelievable, and they know what they got in their system, and they know the right time to. It looks like they just did a really great transition. They allowed these guys, a lot of their young guys, to play with Taves and them for a while to build off of that. They didn't tell anybody they were rebuilding because they wanted Taves and those guys to be playing, show these guys what it means to play for a cup, right? And now they're getting they're mixing in a few more younger people, and Taves can come back, and Kane can look around like you're saying and go, okay, you know what? We're not too bad here after all. That's not. Calm down. Everything's all right. We got Lankinen in there, and great, awesome way to go at doing it. But I didn't see it coming.
No, no, I did not see them coming back this quickly because also if you had Jonathan Tazen right now, who knows where they would have been. I mean, if you had everyone healthy, they might actually not be on the outside looking in right now. They might actually be on the inside, at least for the time being. So that's also the other side of it, where the way they're playing this well without guys like him is a very good sign for expediting your rebuild as you go forward and have guys like Nylander come in and Jonathan Tays. So because Seabrook's kind of at the tail end here, so that's why I didn't include him in that mention. But when you have the other two come in, you would be able to maybe make a run at it if you stay in it until then. I mean, they've definitely made themselves a lot more interesting.
Yeah. We got a question. Another thing. How long will the Canes stick with Mrazek and
Oh,
Reimer? Well, Mrazek's out for the long term here now, and is
there we go.
Nedeljevich good enough? Everything that I've seen from Nedeljevich so far says that he's not good enough, but he's young, and He's improving, so he's going to get a shot now. He has no choice to get a shot because Reimer can't do it all by himself. He's a 1B guy at the best of times. He's not your number one. So he's going to have a shot, and then they'll have to roll with whatever happens there. I don't know. Uh, it's hard to get a trade right now. So it's hard to find a trade out there right now to find another goaltender. So they may just have to roll with these guys. I guess if it turns out to be a complete disaster, then they'll be looking for to give up some draft picks to pick up a goaltender finally. Um, but like before Mrazek got injured, he was playing the best that I've seen him in his career, or at least since he was early in Detroit. So I don't know about that. I've been critical of Mrazek as well in the past, but it's hard to say what they'll do, what they can do. Would they like to find another goaltender? I think so. I think they even tried to find another goaltender, but all the goaltenders decided to go somewhere else. Hence the reason why the Oilers had to re-sign Smith, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. I think if they can get a goal, we get Antti Ranta.
Oh, and that's talking about that. Kemper is apparently out there right now, possibly. Uh, there would be your decision right there.
Yeah, if you're
What would I
willing to
do?
fork
What
up.
would I do to? Yeah, I would I'd give Reimer and my first next year for Kemper easy.
Yeah, I would do that. I would have
Personally,
to
though.
see how much. It seems like they're asking for the all of that extra stuff. Um and then NHL Hockey News reports, thank you for subbing. By the way, my name's Joe, not John. I'm not sure if that's what you said. There we go. I sub John to you and put the reminders for both yours and Steel Flyers. Just so you know for the future. My middle name's John, so I have been called that in the past. You're not the first person.
Oh, by the way, Joe, are you subbed? Are you subbed to NHNR? He's got his own
Yeah,
channel too.
I did in
You
the
sub him up there.
past, unless if my channel. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Let me go check because my
Yeah.
channel got corrupted a while ago too, and it screwed stuff up when I had to like resub to like 800, not 800 people, but like 17 people that it just was like, hey, you're not subbed to these people anymore. I'm like, I think it got like hacked one time, and then I changed all my passwords and everything, and now it's back to normal. So first world problem.
Anyways, anyways, that was you got. If Kemper's out there, there's going to be a bidding war for Kemper. There'll be a few teams I imagine will be looking towards that. I could see Pittsburgh, Jari in their first for Kemper. That could be a game changer for the Penguins.
Yeah, that's true. I just subbed to you Hockey News Reports because it turns out when I got hacked, you were one of the people it seems like got knocked. So you just got resubbed too, by the way, as well. Again, first world problems, gotta love them. But uh,
The Avs, there's a good one. Avalanche. Imagine the Avalanche get Kemper. You could pretty much put a cup in their hands there, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Although Groups hasn't been playing that bad. Grubauer's been pretty good. But Grubauer and their first for Kemper.
hmm. Also, thank you, Vaughn,
I would do
for
that.
the subscription. Too. I just got an alert that Vaughn subscribed to my channel. So gracias, amigo.
Sweet.
Um,
Good.
But yeah, I think that would be perfect. If you're talking about the team that I think has the best chance to win the cup, even with McKinnon out, if they trade for Kemper, that would be for me. I'm with Hockey News Reports. That would be Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about, you mentioned about McKinnon. I watched that game with Minnesota there without McKinnon. And I'll tell you, that team is still strong without McKinnon. That's big. Kale McCarr. Are you freaking kidding me right now? That guy
Bo
is
Byram.
insane. What?
Yeah. And now he's with Bo Byram. You got two young guys that are going to be
Yeah,
potentially aligned together for the next 20 years if they stay on the
unbelievable.
same team. Like,
Yeah,
you figure they could be
yeah.
together for the next 20 years.
you look at like Bo Byram kind of reminds me of a young Giordano, and
Yeah,
Makar, I can't even know. I don't even know who you compare him to. Drew
he's too
Doughty
good to
with
compare to anybody. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
Drew Doughty with better wheels and a better shot. Like the guy's insane, man. Uh, this
You might
team,
have
it's
to go
not a
back.
question. It's not a question of with if Colorado is going to win a cup. It's when and how many, pretty much, right?
Yeah, there's a good question for the chat. People that want to post it, who would you compare? And I think we're going to get a bunch of throwback names because I can't think of a current guy that would be as comparable. Who would you compare to Cal McCarr?
Yeah, who would you give it? Yeah, if you watch him, who would you compare to Cal McCarr? He I haven't seen a guy with wheels like that that can just break like just take the puck and roll with it. I Raymond Bork, I maybe I don't know. Like he's kind of his own dude, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean another guy. I mean, I guess in his prime you might be able to throw out Carlson, but he can't move anymore. But at least in his prime he could move, shoot, and do everything. But McCarr's also 50 times better. Like overall player, where
Yeah,
Carlson blows defensively and is very good in the offensive zone. So that's why I wouldn't really be as keen to doing that. I did. I obviously only saw him in highlights. How quick did McGinnis move?
he was not the fastest skater in the
Yeah, I
world.
didn't think.
He was a very smart player, and he was good defensively. He just had he was good defensively. People don't give him. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he was defensively. He was an excellent defensive player, but he just had the greatest shot from the point maybe ever. Like he was stupid, stupid. The only one that would come close or maybe as good would have been Pronger. And I would say, okay, let's compare him to Pronger. Pronger, who I think was the best defenseman of his generation, maybe. Uh, he didn't have this. He didn't have the wheels of Makar, but Pronger was going to physically punish you more than Makar. But he didn't have the wheels of Makar. So when
Is
maybe
Romanov similar?
Niedermeyer, maybe
Niederreiter?
Niedermeyer,
Yeah. Oh,
Niedermeyer,
Niedermeyer. Yeah. Yeah. Scott
Niedermeyer,
Niedermeyer.
maybe
Yeah.
Scott Niedermeyer. But I think he's got more. He
Rob
doesn't
Blake.
maybe have the wheels. I think he's better with the stick than Niedermeyer
What
was.
about Blake?
His Blake was more of a defensive guy. He didn't have the stick handling in the Makar. That's who I'm trying to think of. Who had the stick handling in Makar? You're right. Carlson does, but take Carlson and give him Drew Doughty's defensive ability. Like this guy is rare air, man. He's going to be up there with the top of all time, greatest of all time
Yeah.
that I've ever seen.
Um. If we're going way back, I mean, he would the Chelios maybe.
Bobby
Bobby
Orr,
Orr, Chris Chelios maybe. I don't know.
Chris Chelios. Now I'd say he's closer to Bobby Orr than anybody I've seen. And that's saying a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, Bobby Orr was he's the closest to Bobby Orr than Ned. So I'm seriously putting him in this area where you're talking about one of the top five greatest
Yeah, everyone
defensemen of
else
all
we just
time.
mentioned too is like best defenseman of all time. Chris Chelios, Rob, like whoever we threw out is all the top like, guys that people regard as some of all time. Um, is Romanov like Makar like skating? So I think he
No,
just means skating.
no, no, no. He's not as good as Makar. Romanov is a good all around. I don't know if he a very good
Well, I
all
think he
around
meant skating
defenseman, but
wise.
I wouldn't skating wise. No, I don't know. McCarr, especially with the puck on his stick, like I haven't seen too many guys, a defenseman that can go with Paul Coffey,
There we go.
you know.
There we
But
go.
I
That
mean,
might be it.
I
That
don't
might
think
be
Paul,
it.
yeah, but Paul Coffey didn't play defense like McCarr does,
No.
and he's not as fast as Paul Coffey was for his era. Like Paul Coffey was unbelievable. Paul Coffey was faster skating backwards than a lot of people were skating forward.
I agree with
So,
Hockey
but
News. I think Romanov's skating is incredible. I think it's more Makar when he has the puck on his stick can skate incredibly fast and completely demolish the defense. Where Romanov,
yeah,
until I see him deke through an entire defense while skating really fast, that's why I don't think
no,
skating's on the same level. In terms of just straight, if we're talking about straight line speed, then it might be
maybe,
the
yeah,
same level. But in terms
might
of
be, yeah.
skating
But
on the with the
with a
puck on
puck
the
on his
stick,
stick,
moving through the defense, I don't think he's there yet. Will he be? Maybe, because he's a very talented player himself, but he's not initially
yeah.
exactly yet.
But Makar hasn't reached his peak
No,
yet. So
exactly.
what
Yeah,
the
that's
heck
the
is
other
he
thing
gonna be?
too. Yeah,
It is crazy. He is. He is for sure. I mean, Hughes is great, but as far as all just everything is concerned, he can do it all. Like he's incredible.
yeah,
I
Hughes
love
is
the
in
guy.
Europe good
Um,
defensively.
so I guess I think we beat that game. Everything. Svechnikov's still looking incredible. Overall, it wasn't best Carolina. I guess what we can say about that, it wasn't best Carolina's best game, but they still won it. We were talking about that yesterday, about how that's what great teams do. I still would like to see them get some goaltending, but we'll see what happens with that. We should probably move on to another game here.
I think
I'm probably going to
NHL.
go till 3:30 today. What's
Yeah,
that?
Hockey News also said 11 to 12 months. I think 11 to means month. For Makar, like if that, well, if to where he's at now, yeah, like we said, that could be the possible timetable. But then Romanov's going to have to catch up to Makar once he excels beyond, like
Yeah.
Pearlos
If
just said. So,
uh,
so yeah, where
yeah,
he's at now, I would say 11 to 12 months.
maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
If
11 to
if that
11 to 12 million. Okay, that's what he meant. Is Makar an 11 to 12 million? Uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably going to get
For
paid
sure.
about that
For
much.
sure he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, yes,
Yeah,
Ty
for
Smith looks
sure, yeah.
amazing. Von Hook, he looks like one of the best young defensemen. Stepped in right away, looked fine. Did everything you asked of him. So yeah, there's another good.
Ty Smith reminds me a lot of Cam Fowler when he first came in the league. And then Cam Fowler started paring down his offense for defense. But I think Ty Smith might be able to keep up his offense as he works on his defense a little better than Fowler. But yeah, he's great. He's been fantastic. Helps to have a guy like Lindy Ruff there. Um, Next game we'll get into. Do we really want to talk about the Coyotes and Blues right now? There's not much to talk about there, except we also just talked about Kemper. So um, let's talk about the. We might get to that game, but we'll talk about the Jets and the Flames. How's that?
Yeah. These have been, like we said yesterday, probably going to be close games all season. The Jets were just able to pull it out, even though they were outshot by a couple. They were still able to pull it out yesterday. Lewis got his first on a nice play by Appleton that he was able to, well, no pun intended, well, actually, no, fully pun intended, get an
Get the
apple
apple.
to Trevor Lewis there. Um, I mean, that guy has a perfect name if he can become a very good passer. And then you got Derek Forbert, like John said when he was on earlier, had that nice. He came in on the play, which you're not accustomed to seeing Derek Forbert do on a rush. Kept crashing in the forward pass it to him, and he just kept crashing, shot it, and scored. So it was nice to see him do that. Then Matty Kachuk got two as well for the Flames. He scored both of the goals for Calgary. And he seems like he's really starting to take off now.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Calgary is concerned, if you can't rally behind Matthew Kachuk, then it's time to change that team around. I mean, I just
And the
absolutely
fact that
friggin' love
Gaudreau's
that guy.
back, he seems to be playing like Johnny again, not like
He's
last year.
playing better, yeah.
He got the assist
How
on that
many
goal.
how many Norris trophies will Makar win? I don't know. After including the one he wins this year, uh, I think he's pretty much who's gonna beat him this year.
The only
I,
guy, like I said earlier, right now, I would say the top two are actually one of the most underrated defensemen in hockey and Cal McCarr, because I would say it's Cal McCarr then Petrie. if you're
Yeah,
voting right now.
Petrie's making it good. If you're voting right now, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How many will he win? I mean, he's got the. Oh, you know who? Lidstrom. I mean, how many did
Nicholas
Lidstrom win?
Lidstrom. Yeah,
Yeah, but I
yeah,
don't think
Lidstrom
Nicholas
might be
Lidst best comparable.
the
Yeah,
best comparable, except for he's left-handed. But other than that,
but even Lidstrom didn't have the didn't play with the flair. It's Makar's flair. He plays like a winger sometimes, and then next thing you know, he's back in his defensive position effortlessly. It's
yeah,
incredible. Uh, it's amazing. I don't know. He could get three. He could
yeah,
get three as long as he stays
probably.
healthy. Three in a row here. I don't
Well,
see
being a
anybody
fatty,
coming up.
might get about seven. If he wins three in a row, he might win about seven horses.
Yeah, I know he could. He could go into Lidstrom type thing. He won 4 or 5 in a row or something like that, Nicholas Lidstrom. So yeah, it's hard to say. I would say if he doesn't win three, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cal McCarr is pretty much on a Hall of Fame track already. Just in a
Trajectory. Yeah.
trajectory as long as he stays
If
healthy.
he doesn't make the Hall of Fame in his career, it'll be a disappointment. It'll be because he got injured or something.
Yeah,
It's the only way. Yeah, yeah, or he started a bad habit or did something stupid or something. Uh,
that is
I had McCarr. I had McCarr number 2 in that draft. And if you go back in my archives in my videos, I did that draft. Uh, I had Patrick number 1, but when I got to McCarr, I'm like, I don't know, I can't pull the trigger on putting him number 1 because if Patrick is okay, healthy, number 1 are so hard, but I really want to put McCarr number 1 in that draft. Yeah, that would have been awesome, eh? Philadelphia took McCarr. Woo!
Philadelphia took McCarr. Our defense would be ridiculous, along with our offense would still be good. So yeah, that would have been helpful. We do have Cam York, who we're all excited about coming up probably next season.
Yeah,
So as long as he
yeah,
doesn't get
yeah.
traded for Johnny Gaudreau, but other than that, we're excited about and I don't think people would mind if that's who you got. But yeah, Cam York, we're definitely excited for.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that highlight avatar what McCarr did to I can't remember what minute. I think it was a really good defenseman there for Minnesota as well, who actually ended up being injured,
Trying
getting a
that
little bit
was when
injured.
Cal McCarr. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who he completely demolished yesterday. I did see that, but I can't remember what defenseman it was either. Um,
His name's not coming to me.
yeah,
Anyways, while we're talking to Calgary, there's something else that came up that's big in the news right now. Is Bennett is asking to get traded apparently and has been for some time. Uh, I guess he figures that he can do better elsewhere out there. I think he might have a case for himself that possibly he could do better somewhere else. Calgary's been really with this roster should have been better than they are for quite some time now. Maybe he's sort of really seeing the writing on the wall. I'm not sure I really blame him all that much.
yeah. I mean, he's more of obviously the guy that steps up for you as clutch time is probably the best way to put it, where he's not the most consistent otherwise. Another team might be able to pull consistency out of him, and then you would actually have a pretty decent, at least third liner. And probably if you can pull consistency out of him and he plays like he does in clutch moments all the time, you might have a second liner. So I think you have more in the tank. They just need to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I think he'd be an interesting acquisition, but Calgary's selling low. Maybe after the playoffs, he does well in the playoffs. He's a good playoff performer. So somebody might give you a third, maybe even a second for him. It's hard to say, but they have come out and said that they're in no hurry at all. Like they have him, but to me, that kind of spells out what the problem with Calgary is. I think I wouldn't come out and say something like that. It's almost like they have a sense of arrogance, like, just suck it up. And, a lot of organizations would just simply, yeah, it's something funny with Calgary. Like that organization just doesn't seem to please their players a lot. Goudreau is a really great guy, and he's struggled in Calgary quite a bit. Somebody asked that. Oh yeah, Pedersen. He talked about that same draft where Peterson was in, and wasn't it Heiskanen go in third on that draft? I want to say Heiskanen was third in that
in
draft too to Dallas.
2017.
But yeah, so Makar,
I think so.
Heiskanen, Patrick, Pedersen. I remember when Pedersen was up there. Peterson, he likes Peterson, so
Or it might have been.
um,
It
he was
might have.
picked number 10, and I think I had him in number 10, and I kicked myself because um, yeah, he's been way better than that.
Yeah, I think uh Heiskanen. Yeah, Heiskanen was third. Obviously, Heishier was first. When is um Glass was the first pick by Vegas, sixth.
Six, yeah.
Yeah, Elias Anderson, who might find himself in LA, was seventh. Middlestad, who hasn't found himself at all yet, was eighth.
No,
Michael Rasmussen, who also is still trying to figure ninth, and then Owen Tippett, who seems like he's going to figure it out, was 10th, and then 11th was Velarde, with Nikas being 12th. So that was the top 12. Oh, and then Nick Suzuki was 13th. Yeah.
yes,
So they had some pretty good top 13 now that you look back at that draft, where before people weren't as high on it. Josh Norris was also 19th in that draft, who's now, of course, on the Senators. He got picked by the Sharks, but he's a guy that is playing really well now for Ottawa. So it seems like that draft did age well. Hockey Rumors is definitely right about that.
yeah. Um, Yeah, I had Makar high. Now, did I? I didn't. I knew he was going to be great, but did I know he was going to be this great? No. I mean, when you're talking, it's almost generational. He should have been number one overall, but he's just improved so fast and so became an incredible, incredible defenseman. No doubt about it. Um, so for Bennett there, if you guys have anybody out there that would like Bennett, where would be a good? Again, I go back to a team like Toronto could use Bennett for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like that's what their big thing has been. Now they got Simmons in there, but having Bennett for the playoffs, I think there's a lot of teams that would give him a shot. Would like to give him a shot. There's a lot of teams out there. I think like Minnesota. Watching Minnesota against Colorado last night, they need to get some more uh, size in their lineup. They got a lot of young guys that are quick, like Kaprizov and
Yeah.
stuff.
The
Although Eck and Greenway are big, but they're not playing their size. They
mhm.
need some guys out there. They need some more grinding in that lineup.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The thing with Bennett though is too, I just looked it up. He gets paid 2.55 and is an RFA. So if you pick up Sam Bennett, you also have to figure out what you're doing for expansion because he's an RFA. So
Oh, he's a restricted
yeah.
free agent. Yeah.
So you have to protect him at that point. So, or just try to move him as a restricted free agent to Seattle. But it makes it tougher for your expansion if you get bring in Sam Bennett if you're a team that kind of already had that set in stone. So yeah, you would have to think about that end of it as well.
Well, and here's the other thing about this trade for Calgary is okay. It's different with Dubois because, or not Dubois, with D'Angelo because they really had to come out and say it because you're going to put a guy on waivers, you're going to have an explanation for that, right? But Bennett, this could have stayed in house. This must have been festering for quite some time. And finally, it seems that Bennett has let it leak to let everybody know, look, I want out of here, right? To push it a little bit. This could get a little messy in the room. if it starts getting out like this. Because why else is it going to get out? It's not like Bennett is a premier player in the league or something like that, right?
No, he seems very good in the playoffs, but overall he hasn't become as high as his draft pick would say in terms of overall play. But if, like I said, if you can find that more consistent middle with him, because of that, have him play more like he has in the playoffs overall, then you could have maybe a second liner if the team can pull it out of him.
Yeah, they yeah, I think another organization might, and I think that's really what he's thinking. He thinks that there's other organizations that would be better for him. Um, where where is Bennett from? I haven't even. I've talked this whole time and I haven't even brought up Cap Friendly yet. Wow. I want to say he's from Canada. I'm pretty sure. I'm like the worst for where guys are from and numbers. I don't know anybody's number or where they're from. I know about their game,
Bennett's
but I
American, or is he Canadian? Sam, I think I might be thinking of Bo Bennett. Sam's
oh
Canadian, yeah,
he played for the Marlboros, so yeah, he's from Ontario.
yeah.
Uh, Holland Landing, Ontario. I don't know where that is in Ontario, but yeah, that so like Toronto seems like the perfect fit there. That's like the perfect. That's exactly what Toronto needs is guys like him in that lineup. It seems like the perfect fit.
Thinking of Bo Bennett. That's why I said he was American, and then I realized that was Bo Bennett that was American. Uh,
Yeah, Bo Bennett. He played a couple games in Pittsburgh. Now he's playing in Europe, or if he's still playing.
Still
I don't
playing.
even know
I
if he's
don't
still playing, or
know.
is he?
Yeah,
Yeah. Kevin, how you doing, Kevin? Yeah, Flyers do play tonight. Uh, do you want to talk about that game, or were there other games that we wanted to get into here? We didn't even really talk about the. I had Winnipeg winning that game because Calgary was a little tired. I didn't mind the way Calgary played. I didn't mind the way Winnipeg played. It just seems like these are the two middle of the road teams in that Canadian division that's probably going to just miss the playoffs. Well, maybe not the way Vancouver's going. One of these teams will make it in the north, and one of them won't. That's it seems like it's heading that
most
direction.
likely. Yeah. John said, "Hey, boy,
Um,
stream still stayed up."
what's that?
He said, "A boys, stream still stayed up." John.
Yeah, I figured out it was for some reason you had to turn my Streamlabs on and off, and it was fine. So, oh, Bennett for Louis Erickson. Yeah, I'm sure Vancouver would be doing backflips if they could get Bennett for Louis Erickson.
That'd be a
Um,
stupid trade for
yeah,
the Flames, though.
it would never happen. But they did
Yeah,
trade for Lucic. So, Lucic for Louis Erickson. Might as well go all the way. Lucic and Bennett for Louis Erickson. Give them an actual player, or something like that. I mean, they might as well keep on trading down in those deals. But I'm we I'm we're I'm going to be running short of time. So let's talk about that Philadelphia Boston game tonight. Why don't we?
sure. Yeah, we have.
Since they brought it up,
Yeah, the only other game we have tonight is I think
the Detroit
Detroit and
Tampa,
Tampa. Yeah,
Detroit Tampa. Let's talk about the Boston game tonight. This is going to be this is a pivotal. No, that's not how you say it. That should be a word though. It really should be, but it's not. It's now a word. Wah. Perlo said so. That's a word. Pivotal.
so Lucci's for
It's a
Neil, then
pivotal
Lucci for
contest.
Erickson. Why not?
Why
That's what
not?
hockey
That
is.
was the talk back when that whole stuff was happening. That Vancouver was trying to get a three-way trade in there to get rid of Erickson. Yeah, you're gonna need to give up like two first-round picks probably. Oh, by the way, good thing nobody listened to me with my idea of stapling a first-round pick to Van Riemsdyk and getting him out of town, eh? Uh,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, that was a bad. That might have been my worst thing to say. Well, oh, I'm glad I'm wrong about that. Since let's get into it. Let's get to the Philadelphia Flyers here. I've been thinking about this over back and forth, and I think I'm leaning to the Flyers in this game because they're at home. Uh, but it's going to be one hell of a contest. And by the way, John will be showing this tonight, right?
Yeah, John's gonna be doing the Boston and Flyers game after he calls at 5:30 the Red Wings in Tampa, since there's only two games on the docket tonight. NBCSN for people in the States picked them up, and I'm assuming it's probably Sportsnet in Canada that would have both games.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
yeah,
they'll have both. I don't. I think they'll have both. Yeah. I got the NHL package thing, so I watch them all anyways. Off the Wall is there, still here. John's still here. The goat's still with us. Um, so anyways, you got Rask against Carter Hart. You have Myers back for Philadelphia. Boston's defense is not what it was last year, but it's coming around. You got. Do you think you're going to see a lot of goals here, or do you think Rask and Carter Hart are going to stand on their heads, or what do you think with this one, Joe?
um, I feel like it will probably be about a middle game. Like you might have a fourth, like 3-2, something like that. I feel like it would probably um be that would be my guess. I think it's going to be a middle ground game. You have a 4-3 score, which would be a seven total, or you would have a 3-2 score, which would be a five total. So that would be the under, I would assume, and then the 4-3 would give you the over. So I would probably stay away from that with the logic I just gave.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning the over too. I just have a very difficult time doing that with those two goaltenders. Like uh, Carter Hart's coming back into his own again. Um, and you know Rask can stop everything at any time. But the last games they played, it was tight until like the third, and then all of a sudden the goals just started flying, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly. 4-2 is off the walls. 4-2 Bruins is what John is saying. I'm usually wrong. You're not usually wrong. Uh, aren't you on a four-game frickin' some? How about parlay hype for John from off the wall?
yeah.
Aren't you on a
I think
four?
he meant.
Aren't you on a four-game parlay run right now, buddy? I hit
I
a
think he
parlay
meant
last
for
night too,
score
by the way.
because you could never get scores right. It's a lot easier to predict who's going to win than it is to tell you what the hell the score of the game's going to be.
Oh, I think
That's a,
he's talking about when he's betting on not betting, but when he's picking for his own team, maybe. I don't know. Why don't we wait and see if what John says?
yeah. By the
Okay.
way, here's a score prediction
Evan,
for
how you doing, Evan? Okay, what's up?
uh for me. My score prediction for the first game, we'll see how right I can be here. Would be, I would say the Lightning are going to win 5-2. I'll give Detroit two goals in this one. And then I will say the Flyers will be an overtime game that ends up being a 4-3 win for us. That's how I'll put that.
Well,
Uh, that would be my score predictions.
I got a pick in for my Patreon for that. By the way, you guys can go there too. I got a Patreon app that's fun. You can go over there and check it out.
Now picks
Called
favorite
Beep
both these
Beepal
yeah.
Picks. Yeah, it's good times. We got people flying over there right now. I hope you're wrong though on the Detroit score. That's all I can say about that.
Huh.
Not that yeah. I hope you're wrong about the Detroit score. As far as the Flyers score, the more I think about it, the more I think it's over. But I don't think I can pull the trigger on it. I don't think I can pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, it's hard
Uh,
with the goal. Flyers. If you want an early score, like I said, I'm gonna do the video tomorrow. But I'm gonna say 35-21 for the Super Bowl as an early score prediction, and that would be the Chiefs.
35 to so just under. Isn't it 57?
I didn't look at
The
that.
line?
Yeah, I didn't look at the line yet. I'm not sure.
I'm almost positive it's 57. So just under. Well, I gotta turn my thing back on and off again, or it's gonna. No, it's back again. But that would be just under. And we go on. I think we're leaning the Chiefs, right? Because who's injured for who's injured in Tampa?
If they're out, Levante David was not fully practicing, but it seems like Arians thinks he could play. Antonio Brown isn't
Oh
obviously as
yeah,
important as he was for the Steelers as he is for Tampa Bay, since they do have two other wide receivers. But if he's out, that's still a loss. And then I can't remember who the last person was, but they have some key guys that didn't practice. It's also just the Chiefs are just an above and beyond. They go down in games and figure out a way to come. Like last postseason, they would just come back constantly. So I just feel like they're going to where you can never count out Brady, but I just don't think that team's going to be able to stay in the game against a team as good as Kansas City.
well that's what when you just that's what it comes down to, right? Is it's all about Brady. I mean, Brady can do incredible things, so he could do it, but so can Mahomes. This is the one time where you look across the other on the other team, and you've got a Brady-esque type quarterback on the other team as well. So it's I gotta go. I gotta go with the new kid. I called Casey last year. I'm going with Casey this year too, but I really would like Brady to win. I really would like Brady to win. Just just to solidify, if there was any thought at all of him not being the best, oh, the goat, this would pretty much put all
Well,
of
I
that
think
to
he
rest,
already
wouldn't it?
solidified that because most people think if they still had their quarterback room of last year, Tampa Bay would not even, no matter what the rest of their team is, be in the postseason, let alone one of the better teams in the
Right.
NFC to get in. So I feel like he's
Yeah.
already proven that enough, regardless of what happens in the outcome of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 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 He probably just making the finals already did that for sure. But if he won, that would definitely put it. That would there would be no doubt about that. Well, boys and girls, I'm afraid I got to get going here. I got to go pick up the little lady. I got you. If you could help out a lot. If you went over to that Patreon, I'd be able to possibly tell my wife to stop working. And then if you subscribe to the channel, that would be great because then we get that going. And if you go to steelflyers.com, forget about me. Everybody in the land will celebrate you, especially you, because it's an amazing website. You really need to go there and check it out. It's growing in awesome ways. It's going to be amazing. www.steelflyers.com, all sports network, and we're getting more and more people. If you feel like you can do this fine programming, you can PM us and we can maybe somewhere down the road you might be able to do football, baseball. We need baseball people. We need all that kind of stuff like that. And if you got a business and you'd like to be sponsored on the site, which we already have 7 sponsors there now, people are lining up. You're gonna have to get in quick. You got people knocking on our door wanting to sponsor on there. So if you would like to if you'd like to be sponsored and see commercials, which we're gonna have on this fine programming down the road. I know you guys are real happy about that, but it's going to be great because that makes sure that we're able to do this fine programming. You let us know, DM us in our Twitter or our Twitter accounts or here or comments or any way you want to get a hold of us. You can find us there. What do you got going on now, Joe?
I'm just gonna watch the other game after we get off of here, until at least it's a no contest, if that ends up being the case, as it probably should be with Tampa playing Detroit. But and then I'll be getting ready for the Flyers game, and I might have on my channel for post game our new blogger that joined the Flyers Nitty Gritty family. Michael come on to be on the post game if he's around, since Jamie recommended him to me. That's another site that people that are flyers, nitty-gritty.com. Jamie Baskow and Yarif
Yes.
Woloch do a very good work along with
Yeah.
the rest of our crew. Myself, Chris, or Jamie, myself, Chris, Lance, and Michael, so forth. Everyone else, everyone does great work over there. Kate,
All part of
everybody.
Steel. All part of
Yeah.
Steel Flyers too. They're all part of Steel Flyers as well. Yeah, they're
Yes. And that
fantastic.
website I just posted underneath avatars, I thought so. Response to John, it has the link to the website for people that want to bookmark that and save it. And we're not even close to being done with the website yet. The pages are not even close to being done. There's going to be a lot more pizzazz for each individual teams in the future, so you can click on more specific stuff than it is now. So you'll get to see it from the beginning and then get to see it as we develop it.
Yep. And 2 hours away. Go get yourself something to eat. Settle down. Grab a beer or whatever it
Three
is, the
actually.
thing that you
Night
enjoy
games at
doing.
8 Eastern.
And what's that?
Tonight
3 hours.
at 8 Eastern. So yeah, about three because it's 5:11
The
Eastern.
the Detroit game starts
Five
at
thirty.
8 Eastern.
No, that game
5:30. All
starts
right.
in 20 minutes. Yeah,
Oh, does it?
yeah,
It's starting that early
yeah.
now? Wow. I'm going to miss some of that game. Shoot. Anyways, Off the Wall is going to be on right away. So I'm passing it over to John. John,
I don't
you go
have
rock that like you always do, my friend. Go over to John from Off the Wall. Everybody scurry over there right now. You know, too bad you don't have time to eat. You don't need to eat anyways. You can lose a few, right? Just go over to Off the Wall there. Have fun. Uh, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming in. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern. I don't know, Joe, are you going to be here? Maybe some other people will be here. Maybe John can be on with us. We're gonna have lots of people on here and have lots of fun. We'll be talking about the two games and who knows else what else we'll talk about. You guys will tell us in the comment section and direct us and send us off on our the mystery of Pearl Wisdom Land. Have a great day, everybody. Lots of love to ya.
enjoy the games.